Hello, co-op students. This is Larry again. I'm here to give you some information on your final co-op project. So that's it. No more assignments. We're getting near the end of your co-op work term. So this is your final big project. It is worth 30% of your final mark. So it's very important to your mark. And so make sure you spend some time the next few weeks to get it done. This presentation goes through all the different parts of the assignment so you know exactly what we expect from you. To find out when the project is due, check the email that I sent you or check the blog with the blog site, and it tells you exactly when the project is due. So this is your portfolio assignment. So why are we doing this? Number one, you guys all took co-op because you want to get a paying job, right? Now that co-op's almost over, now it's your time to go out and actually find that job on your own. So this portfolio will help you get that job because there are 7 parts to complete in this portfolio, and each of these 7 parts will improve your chances of getting the job. So each of the 7 parts is actually useful for you to help you get the job. Once again, I mentioned this is the last assignment you have. You have several weeks to finish the assignments, so there's no excuse for you not to put in a good effort and get it done. Not to mention how much it's going to help you in your job search. And finally, 30% of your mark, I already mentioned that. But more importantly, it will help you find a job. I can't stress that enough. Okay, so part 1, updated resume. So back at the beginning of co-op, we created a resume together, and the resume is in great shape. However, we have to now update the resume to include your co-op work experience and your co-op education. So this is what it's going to look like. I have the resume example in the next two slides, and I want to show you exactly what I want you to do. So this is the first half of the new resume. So as you see here, there's the name of the person. So this, of course, would be your name. Objective. So you're going to change the objective. So for most of you, the objective originally was to obtain a co-op position as a accounting assistant, hairstyling assistant, ECE assistant. Now you're going to change the objective to put down what it is, what kind of job you're looking for. That's number 1. Number 2, qualifications and skills. So you're going to add 4 new skills that you gained from your co-op placement, and you're going to put them here. And then you're going to delete some of the skills you had on your old resume that are not as important, because you don't want too many qualifications and skills. So we'll only have 4 to 6 at most. Work experience. So this is where you're going to update your resume to include your co-op experience and under work experience. So here's an example here. So this is office administrator, Toronto Community Housing, co-op placement / Toronto. There's the date. Use the proper date, of course. Then you're going to have your first and most important task, your second most important task, your third most important task, and you can even go to a fourth if you want. So this will be the first work experience on your new resume. So that's the first half. Second half, under education, we're going to include our co-op education. So you have something like this: Cooperative Education Program, Emory Adult Learning Center, Toronto, Ontario, and then the proper dates. Under references, I just want to make a point here that now is the time to start thinking about asking your co-op supervisor to be a reference for you. And if they're willing to give you a letter, a reference letter, that's even better, because that's something you can show to another employer saying, this is a job I did at this co-op placement, I did a good job, etc., etc. So start thinking about that now, because you have a few weeks left of co-op. Now is the time to talk to your supervisor, and that gives them time to actually create the letter for you. So that's the resume updates. Next, the cover letter. So this is part 2 of your assignments. So the purpose of the cover letter is to introduce yourself to an organization, number 1. It's to demonstrate that you have an interest in the company or the specific job, number 2. It's to draw attention to your resume and to motivate the reader to interview you. So this is a way for you to get past all the resumes that are out there waiting for this job. This is a way for you to attract attention to yourself. This is the first contact that the prospective employers will have with you. So the cover letter has to be done well. Part of doing it well means taking the time to personalize it. That means putting down the information about the company, about the name of the person that you're applying to. So spending some time, each cover letter you send has to be a little bit unique for that job. Don't just use a generic cover letter. Dear sir, madam, please accept my application for this job. Not good enough. So on the next slide, I'll show you what a good cover letter looks like. Okay, so this is a cover letter. So here's the proper format. So at the top, we start with your address only. So no name, no phone number. That's going to appear later on in the cover letter. Then we have the date. Then we have the full name and address of the person you are sending the cover letter to. So no short forms. Make sure the spelling is done properly, correctly. Okay, and then the name, dear, in this case is Dear Mrs. DeMonte. So we have 3 paragraphs. First paragraph, second paragraph, third paragraph. Each paragraph serves a different purpose. So paragraph number 1 is you indicate where you found out about this position. So for example, I'm applying for the position of accounting clerk, which I found on Workopolis site, job number 6438, whatever the specific information is about the job. Or maybe you found the job from someone that works at the company. So from my colleague and your employee, Sam Smith. That's the first point. Second point, you should also give some reason as to why the position or the organization appeals to you. So why do you want to join this company? So it could be something like, I know this company is very involved in up-to-date skills in this or that field, and I really want to join this field. Something like that, something that explains why you are applying to this company or to this position. Putting down something like, please accept this letter application, it's not good enough. It doesn't really talk about why you care about joining this company. So this is also a good place to show a little bit of research. So if you find out this company is involved in something that interests you, you can put it here, and that shows that you've actually spent some time to research the company and you know a little bit about it. So that's the first paragraph. The second paragraph is where we get our resume and we make our resume match the job that is being advertised. So you take either some work experience that you have in the past or your education, and you indicate how this would be suited for the position. So don't just write down, I have a BA in economics from XYZ University. How will this education help you with this job? Or how will your work experience from 3 years ago help you to be successful in this job? We're linking our resume to the current job position that we're applying for. That's very important, okay? You can also mention personal attributes. For example, hard and soft skill. So hard skill could be maybe you know the software program that they use at this company. You have experience with it or you studied how to use it. Soft skills could be things like you're very patient, you're very organized, which are necessary to be successful at this job. Or let's say you're applying for a sales job, you're very extroverted, you like to talk to people, you like to get to meet people, you like to be around people. That's a soft skill that would be good for like a sales job. Try to be as specific as possible in this chapter, in this paragraph, to explain how your education and your work experience from the past will make you an excellent candidate for this job. The final paragraph is where you indicate that you'd like a personal interview to discuss your experience and your qualifications. And this is where you're going to put down your phone number and or your email address. And that is how the employer is expected to contact you. So your phone number should be the most easily accessible phone number. So if you have a cell number and a home number, put down the best number to reach you. Don't put down both. So if it's your cell number, Put down your cell number and make sure you leave your cell phone on and you answer at all times. Email address, make sure you check your email frequently when you're applying for jobs. And make sure your email address is a professional email address, not something like, goofyguy@yahoo.com, something professional. Then you put yours sincerely, you sign it, and then you write your name below. And that's the cover letter. That's part 2 of your portfolio assignment. Let's go on to part 3. Part 3 is a thank you letter. So the thank you letter is to your current supervisor at co-op, and here you're expressing your appreciation for what you learned and also how this experience will benefit you in the future in terms of your job search. This is good for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's good because it's good manners to thank people who have spent some time working with you, helping you. Number two, it shows appreciation, and you never know, maybe your current supervisor has an opening in his or her company, or if not in their company, maybe they know someone who has an opening in their company, and showing a little bit of class by creating a thank you letter will make you stand out when they are thinking about opportunities or jobs available for them or for someone they might know. So in terms of writing the thank you letter, you can go online and just type in thank you letter. There's a bunch of examples. There's probably thousands of examples. Just, and also your own words. It doesn't have to be too fancy. Just really how you feel, thanking them for their time that they spent and what you learned at the placement. The format's the same as the cover letter. So you start off with your address, then the name of the person you're sending the letter to, and then dear Mr. or Mrs., and then a thank you. Could be one paragraph, that's it, and then you sign it and address it to your immediate supervisor. So that's number 3. Number 4 is the job description assignment. This is what it looks like. Okay, so this is what you need to fill out. Yours has to look like this, but of course with your proper information. So you have job description assignment as your title, and then you're going to start off with school. You're going to fill in Emory Adult Learning Center. Student, you're going to put your name. Teacher, you're going to put my name or another teacher's name, whoever you're working with. Company name, so the name of the company and address that you're working at. Placement position, so what's your job title? Are you a hairstyling assistant, accounting assistant, etc., etc.? Schedule, so are you working Tuesday to Friday, 7 to 4, or Tuesday to Friday, 9 to 3, whatever the hours, days and hours, you put that in schedule. Objectives, so this is where you put down 3 objectives or 3 reasons why you took co-op. 3 of them. Now tasks, this is probably the most important section. Tasks are all the things that you did during your co-op placement. All of them, as many as you can think of. If you forget, look at your old yellow sheets, because your yellow sheets were your day-to-day duties that you did at the placement. This is useful to remember because you may have a job interview in 6 months or a year, and they may ask you, what did you do at your co-op placement? After 6 months or a year, you may forget all the things that you did, and you probably did a lot of things. So if you write them down now and you refer to them before a job interview in the future, you can remember more of them. And the more you did, the more impressive it is. So spend some time to write down all the different tasks that you completed during your co-op placement. Then we have hard skills. So hard skills, once again, are things like software that you learned. Maybe it's using certain tools. It could be using a photocopier, computers. It could be, if you're a hairstylist, using up-to-date curling irons. So all the physical hard skills, put them down here. Soft skills are more like things like patience, organization, willingness to go talk to strangers. So they're not physical, but they're more like emotional or psychological type things, like I mentioned. Attitude desired by the employers. Here you have to talk to your supervisor and ask them, what kind of attitude are you looking for in a worker? Is it patience? Is it initiative, showing initiative? Is it being on time? Is it being responsible? Is it whatever the job? Every job is different. So some attitudes are required by certain jobs and others not so much. technology, so whatever technology you used, put it down here. And now you have to write down the name and the title of your supervisor, and then your supervisor has to sign right there. And that's the job description assignment. Next, final employer evaluation. So you've already done the first evaluation, and hopefully you've handed it in to us. You're going to be given the second evaluation soon, right before co-op finishes. So when you get the second evaluation done, you need to attach it, 2 copies, to your final portfolio. And when we mark the portfolio and return it to you, we will give you back 1 copy, which you can keep for your records, and 1 copy we keep for our records. So that's part 5 of your portfolio assignments. Part 6 is a business card. This is for you, a business card for you. So you create 1 business card, and we're going to mark it for layout and contents. Doesn't have to be on business card paper. Regular paper is fine. And you can use a software like Microsoft Word or Google Docs, or search for an online site that lets you make a free business card. So it's typically going to have your name, your address, and maybe the position you're looking for or what your skills are. So that's the business card. And finally, part 7 is 1 piece of company literature. So something from the company, like a newsletter, flyer, menu, price list, business card, whatever from the company. And that's part 7. So that's it. That is your whole portfolio assignment. So how are we going to grade you on this project? Well, we're going to grade you like this. So this is the marking scheme. So you see the 7 components there, number 1 to number 7. So the updated resume will be worth 25 marks. The cover letter will be worth 25 marks, 15 for layout, 10 for errors. So if you get it perfect, you get 10 out of 10. Every time you get an error, we deduct 1 mark. Same for the thank you letter, but it's worth 20 marks in total. The job description, it will be worth 30 marks in total. The most recent employer evaluation, 2 copies, will be worth 5 marks. And the 1 piece of company literature will be worth 5 marks. And finally, your personal business card will be worth 10 marks. Add all these up and you get 120 marks. And that is your portfolio.